It's not very often that you see one of the state's toughest administrators figuratively throw his hands in the air and say, "They've got me." Well, that's what happened this week when Prisons boss Ron Woodham appeared before an upper house inquiry into the privatisation of two of our main prisons. Mr Woodham told the inquiry that sections of his staff and their union were out of his control and the only way to beat them was to allow the privateers to take over. It was the lament of a manager unable to manage.
What we'll be doing elsewhere is things like dealing with a budget blowout in overtime of $43 million by centralising rosters, dealing with work practices where currently we've got prison officers that are rostered onto a wing within a jail, that if the inmates move out of that wing, they stay in the wing even if there are no inmates there.
If you think that's a bit I'm all right, Jack, have a listen to some of the things Corrective Services Commissioner Ron Woodham had to tell the Upper House Committee. For instance, there was an escape at Parklea Jail in which the absconders apparently stood for several minutes trying to hook onto a wall. They were under camera surveillance, but no one was looking at the screen.
And no one saw anything. And it is believed the prison officers in the control room at the time had been watching cricket on television.
And if they weren't watching cricket, they were playing their own games.
And more recently, this is only in the last month or so, information technology workers had to be specially brought in to repair the computer network after it became clogged with unauthorised files, including interactive video games brought in by staff, which the officers were playing during their watch instead of guarding inmates.
But there were more than allegations of out-and-out slackness. Committee members must have been wondering just how the staff had been able to get away with so much for so long. Mr Woodham revealed the overall powerlessness of management when it came to staff manipulating the system to their advantage.
They'll do anything to keep every dollar in overtime and threaten management with industrial action if we try and change anything in the prisons. Parklea has a number of performance issues. The centre has significant levels of sick leave and has a high use of overtime. The militant and inflexible local PAVB insists on every position being filled, regardless of need, and sometimes keeps inmates locked in cells until all positions are filled.
At one stage, Mr Woodham provided this explanation for his department's inability to keep control of its staff.
I'm not here to just to bash unions.
No, I wasn't asking you as a bashing question.
It's not just the unions, it's their members that they have to manage as well as us. They have difficulty in managing some of them as well as we do. And it's the members, it's the staff members in some of these facilities that make the difference. As an example, we've had to close a couple of facilities because, to be quite honest with you, the union or management couldn't talk any sense with them.
The union is dead against privatisation and dead against admitting to any rorting of overtime or anything else.
I just don't think it stands up. The two centres that they've spoken about for privatisation, Cessnock would be in the bottom third as far as overtime usage, and Parklea's not even in the top 5 with overtime usage. So that argument just doesn't stack up.
So what do you think is the government's real agenda? Why do they want to privatise?
Because I think they've listened to the department for too long, listened to what they've had to say, and they've been blinded by some of the things that have come out of the head office of the Corrective Services.
What's Corrective Services' agenda then?
To take the easy option out. They don't want to sit down and have meaningful discussions with us in relation to how to fix this problem as a united team.
Finally, back at the committee, one member seemed baffled by Ron Woodham's lament.
I find that extraordinary. I really do. That I find it that your entire department is unable to run a prison system as effectively as a private enterprise when you don't even have to worry about making a profit. You don't even
But
have that.
this is one of the reasons why we're trying to implement these reforms, and of course privatising prisons is only part of the reform package, to not to waste public money, and to make the system more effective and run it more efficiently.
I mean,
So privatisation is only part of the reform package of what we're putting forward and what we're implementing.
Now some short stories from the regions Helen Zaremus reports.